Oh, howdy. Oh boy. There we go. Some Battlefield. I did some GPU. Text file thing.
Heads up. I'm seeing evidence of a location near the array that could be below ground. Might want to check it out. Alright, you're good to go for deployment. Post up.
Oh, you kidding me, dude? Wow. I got killed by robots.
Fuck! I'm hit! Medic! Hey, you there! That's it! Stay with me!
Thanks, dude. I can't believe the robots got me. Dude, the robots are fucking evil. What the fuck, dude? What'd they do to the robots? Wow, the robots are fucking awful now.
Alright, you're good to go. Sending you back in.
Got a dangerous spot here!
Heads up. Check your map for new mission details. New mission is up. It's marked on your map. Heads up. Your grid's about to be compromised by NXC.
It's dangerous here! Use caution!
mission available.
Wow, these guys. No accuracy with that shit.
Got a new mission ready.
Get them on the box, box!
Yeah, it looks like Crunchy City on my screen. I don't know what it looks like on the internet, but... I mean, no, it looks pretty good.
That zone's heating up fast. You won't be safe there for long. Got a new mission for you. Details on your map.
Okay. Now it looks good.
Seeing a custom weapon crate here.
Check your missions.
Yeah, I have extreme I'm DL.
New mission available.
AA. Anti-aliasing.
Missions are done.
And
Let's
this
stay alert
looks
till we're out of here.
awesome.
Enemy tank. Contact! Enemy infantry engaging!
How'd I miss? Seems like I missed everything. How the fuck did you leave me over here?
Make your way to that point!
Enemy numbers are dropping. Don't slack off.
Heads up! We got a danger point! Got a dangerous spot here!
I don't have any fucking defense against the tank.
Way to hit pay dirt. Intel like this can make all the difference. You're not done with the fight yet, but getting close.
Got enemy inside! Contact! Enemy infantry engaging!
What did they do to this game? Oh my god, I can't hit anything. What the fuck did they do to my guns?
Enemy contact in my AO.
List suspicious. Watch yourself.
Pressure's on. Show them how it's done.
Nice. Got a victory in my first game. Oh, I figured out the DLL, filtering by NVIDIA is the way to go if you want this to look good.
Impressive. Enemy hitters will think twice when you're on the battlefield.
No, I gotta... My guns don't shoot straight. I have to figure out what the hell they did to this. Oh my god, dude. Dude. This is gonna change how I use guns, if this is how this is. Let's go. This used to be accurate. What's going on here? Oh. But like, yeah, Houston, we have problems. These loadouts suck. I think it's this crap. What the fuck? I gotta fucking fix this game. It's broken.
What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to an updated controller settings video. In today's update, Battlefield said they were going to adjust some input curves, and so I want to make sure you guys are fully taken care of. That way, when you go into a game, you're able to absolutely dominate and beat people at ranges and not be missing your shots. So do me a quick favor, if y'all enjoyed the video, find it helpful, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and let's get into it. All right, so to hop into our controller settings here, just to kind of put this out there, these are my settings. This is what I recommend, but you guys can kind of use what I'm giving you to kind of build off of that and to alter it yourself a little bit so you can really be dialed in game. This is just some good suggestions for you out there. So first thing, infantry aim sensitivity. I recently got a controller that has TMR sticks as opposed to regular analog sticks. It basically registers fine movements a little bit easier. So for me, I end up going from a 60 to a 65 in my infantry aim sensitivity. That just helps me out, have relatively the same type of movement. I'd recommend probably staying between a 40 and a 70, give or take in that range. That's going to be like your sweet spot for overall aim sensitivity. Wouldn't really recommend you going higher than like a 70. You're going to be whipping around really, really quickly if you do that. So I would not really recommend doing that too much. Next up is going to be your field of view. I'm personally playing on 120. This is what I like to play on. I would say that you don't have to play on 120. I know some of you guys out there are going to be on like in your living room, on a TV, something like that. Probably try and stay like 110, something else like that. But for me, being at a gaming setup on a monitor, for me, this works out great being at 120. Vertical aim ratio, we're keeping this at 56. This is default. Same with our vertical zoom ratio. Uniform infantry aiming, I keep this on. I don't really feel the need to go ahead and adjust really anything else. I think keeping this on is generally speaking the mood. Your zoom sensitivity coefficient, we're going to leave this stock. I really don't understand, frankly, why we have these specific settings. Your zoom sensitivity coefficient, zoom ratio, aim ratio. I frankly don't really get it, but you know, it is what it is. I think it's just totally unnecessary. Want to max out all of your weapons to level 50 and unlock the new Unstoppable Force variants ASAP? Check out Mitch Cactus. They're the absolute best and most reliable in Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty. Whether you want to increase your own level to 500 or get help completing challenges,
Fucking cunt.
for all things, so you might as well just allow yourself to hit as many shots as possible. This is what it's meant for. You have a controller, you absolutely need aim assist in game, so it's going to benefit you to have this at 100. Now, if your infantry aim input curve, I play on dynamic, and I know within the patch notes, DICE said they were going to go ahead and smooth out some of these curves. I went around and tested some of them. Standard and dynamic both feel actually pretty similar, but I will say dynamic definitely still does feel better. So I'd recommend playing on dynamic. I'd probably stay away from something like Bad Company 2, just because that's a real tough one. Like, you're really going to feel like a stick in the mud trying to actually like move around. It's tough. It's not that fun. You can obviously tell when you get on the game, look at your aim input curve. It's not that high of a curve, so I'd recommend just going for dynamic. You'll be fine right there. Linear is not something I truly recommend. I just like to go for dynamic or standard, and maybe something like Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 1 and 4 could be something you could check out as well. But overall, I think dynamic is the best one out there. It's the smoothest curve, gives you the most predictability. And that's what I like. Now down here for our infantry stick input acceleration presets, you guys can obviously see what it actually says. I play on standard. Of course, Battlefield 3, 4, and Bad Company have no acceleration whatsoever. I just prefer to play on the standard for Battlefield 6 and drag this all the way down to 0. We don't want this to be accelerated at all. If you guys go ahead and adjust this, you can test it out in the firing range. You'll see exactly what it does. I don't need any acceleration. I don't want any of that artificial zooming, anything else like that. I want it to be true controller input. Down here in the movement category, we have the infantry sprint. This is going to be on toggle. I don't really think you should put it on hold. That's just going to wear out your sticks when you do that. Double tap sprint forward. You can have this on like sprint or auto sprint. I accidentally reset some of my settings here by clicking that good old R3 button. Did give me a confirmation and just kind of reset everything. So this is something I should have on sprint. Your stick forward sprint should be off. Your sprint, mine's on L3. I like to plan more of a tactical, like Call of Duty tactical, where my sprint's my L3, my slide's my R3, my melee's going to be my circle, you know, or your B button if you're on Xbox. Like, that's the kind of way I want to play. You know, you're not really going around actually meleeing people. You know, you're not going for a panic melee. So you don't have to have it on your right stick. So that's the reason I have my slide on my right stick. It allows me to do those beautiful jump slides, you know, jump aim slide that you see people do in game. That's how you do it. It's very simple to be able to do. Just a nice little hit your jump button. You know, you actually aim in with your L1 or your, you know, your L2, whatever you're playing on. And then of course you hit your slide, which is gonna off your infantry weapon zoom. This is going to be on hold. You don't ever want this to be on toggle. That's just a very, very bad setting to be able to have. Your zoom, for most people, it's going to be on L2 or your left trigger. For me, mine is on L1 because I grew up playing on, you know, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, so on and so forth. So for me, for shooter games, I always use the top, you know, bumpers. So that to me feels natural. I've just swapped out my top bumpers with my bottom triggers, and that's just kind of like how I've done that. That's really about it. So whenever I go to do something like throw a grenade, I'm using my bottom right trigger or my R2 as opposed to my R1. So that feels natural to me, totally not necessary, but I'd say it's something you definitely can do. Steady scope, can have this on hold. That's going to be on my R3. It's very simple. Obviously, you just hold in when you're, zooming in if you're trying to, hit a sniper shot. And then one of the most underlooked or overlooked settings, however you want to classify it, is your infantry zoom aim sensitivity. This right here, I like to have this on a 38. I believe the lower it is, of course, that's going to be the harder it is to move off target. Mine's at a 38. I don't really recommend going probably above a 45 to a 50. At that point, you're able to really come off target super easily. At least, personally, I think you are. So that's not something that I'd recommend you guys to have a very high one on. This is something you're gonna have to go into the firing range and try it out for yourself. And of course, put in some in-game testing. But for me, 38 feels great. And this is what I've been rocking for a minute. Even though I switched controllers to one that's got the different sticks, I still keep this the exact same. So you don't have to worry about changing that if you've already got it set. Down here, the rest of this stuff is just at 100 because, of course, we're using uniform infantry aiming. So none of this matters. Even if you have this changed, if you have uniform infantry aiming on, it's not going to apply. Interact/reload, mine's going to be on prioritized reload. So that way, when I'm around stuff, I can prioritize hitting that reload button. But let's say I'm playing Rush and I'm on an MCOM, it can prioritize interact when I have a full, mag in my gun. So that way I can tap square to go ahead and, hit the MCOM, and then I can look around and I don't have to have my thumb on the button. That's something that's very beneficial, regardless if you have back paddles on your controller or not. Very nice to be able to have just a nice little quality of life type of thing you can do for yourself. Moving on down here, of course, you don't really have to have any of this other stuff changed. Same with the gyro, you can have that disabled, of course. And this down here, I haven't changed it anyways because I don't ever use this flick. Like, I don't know why you'd ever use this anyways. Now we're back out to this menu here where we can see our controller settings. I'm going to show you guys some of my custom button maps. I really haven't changed a whole lot, to be honest with you guys. I'm just going to keep it very, very simple and show you guys the ones that I have changed. So you guys can see this, like my pin, call-in gadget, L2, R2. Like I said, I swapped my top bumpers for my bottom triggers. So that's realistically speaking all I have done. I'm not really going to show you guys any of the rest of this since all of it is unchanged. My prone, this is my crouch toggle. Hold for prone is my R3. That's what allows me to do that. My slide is also my R3 when I just tap to slide. It's very nice. I fired my zoom, L1, R1. You guys know that as I've been talking about it. And the rest of the stuff down here, I have not changed. Personally, it's not something I really feel like I need to change. Of steady scope, we saw that in the previous menu. That's really about it. If you guys want to go do like the rangefinder zeroing, you can definitely have this also bound to your aiming sort of button. So that way, like, let's say if I want to bind this right here, I can bind it to my zoom. And that way, when I'm sniping it at my rangefinder, I'm zeroing in, it's automatically gonna basically rangefinder in and zero in on that just because I'm already aiming. So nice little 2-for-1. I think it does have a bit of a delay if you bind it like this, like maybe like a second or something like that. So you're not going to be hitting like quick scopes with it, but overall, if you're actually rangefinder, you're probably gonna try and do that anyway. So now for the final part here for this video, we're gonna go all the way down to the very bottom. This is something that's going to be very easily overlooked. Your other section and controller tuning. We're gonna go in here, controller vibration. You can have this on and off. It genuinely does not matter. This controller has very small rumble packs, so for me, I don't mind a little bit of that feedback. It doesn't really bother me. Sometimes I won't even notice if it doesn't kick in. It's just one of those things. So on, off, not gonna mess up your shot either way unless you have the most ridiculous rumble packs of all time. Not gonna do anything. Vibration settings, you don't even have to open that. So adaptive triggers, we want to keep this on 0. We don't want any of that type of crap. We don't need any of this dual sense adaptive stuff. Like, we're not like, I'm all for like some immersion stuff in terms of graphics and the game looking nice, but we don't need adaptive, like, resistance in our controller when we're trying to pull triggers. Don't do that. Don't go for that. Now down here to your left stick and your right stick dead zones, this might look kind of crazy to y'all, so I'm gonna explain it. So your center dead zone and your axial dead zone, I truly don't understand why there is an axial dead zone and not just a center dead zone. This is one of those kind of unnecessary settings. I think you should keep them basically the same value. The center dead zone right here, I plan to 0-0 for both my left stick and my right stick, and I'll explain why. Reason being is because I want as true and fast input as possible. So I'm going to have literally no dead zone. There's not a single millimeter, centimeter, whatever it is, that's not going to register on my controller. Keep in mind, if you dial them all the way down to 0, first off, if you've never played it like that, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel like it's so touchy. I'd recommend maybe going down from like a 7 to a 5 to a 3 to a 1, incrementally doing that. Just when you have it lower, it allows you to react quicker. Obviously, it's not like Battlefield's a movement style game where you have to have crazy movement, but being able to react quicker and, you know, prioritize targets and aim at things or maybe move somewhere, it does help you out, helps you stay alive a little bit longer. So I'd recommend doing that. If you have like 10 dead zone, definitely dial that down. Like, need that lower ASAP, like 110%. And it's on your left stick anyways, so this is what you're using for moving, and that's why your max input threshold here is at a 60. So that means that when I go fling my stick forward to go sprint, that means I only need 60% of my stick, like the circumference of the stick, in order for that maximum input to be felt. That means as soon as I hit 60%, like obviously I'm still pushing way past it, I'm hitting the edge of the stick, you know, area, but at 60%, I'm fully able to sprint forward, and I reach that maximum input, which is good. It helps me basically generate that faster. You're not really crouching around doing these little tiny movements. Battlefield's not like a tactical milsim game like that, so we don't need that. Now down to your right stick, this is what you're aiming with. So this goes down here to being at 100. So we don't want to dial that back any bit. 100, maybe 99 at the lowest, right? But this is another one of those cases where I want to be able to have the best control over my controller possible in my gun and game. I want to be able to make those fine decisions. I want to be able to fine tune things when I'm aiming. So for me, this works out great, but if you've never played on it, it's going to feel kind of bad. So very, very touchy. So what you need to do, dial it down, 7, 5, 3, 1, so on and so forth. You guys will be taken care of right there. You don't have to get down to a 0. Keep in mind, if you have stick drift in controller, I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but if you have stick drift, you are going to feel it at a 0 dead zone. Your character will gradually just move if you have stick drift. It's something that's inevitable for all standard analog controllers. TMR sticks, what's in my controller, you cannot get stick drift. It's impossible. Now, if your dead zones down here, you can just basically keep these at a 0. I mean, all my triggers, basically everything on my controller, apart from being TMR sticks, is mouse click. So for me, it's a literal mouse click trigger pull in. So I just have the maximum input threshold at 100 since it doesn't really matter. Overall, if you have regular, you know, a regular PS5 controller, regular Xbox controller, you can probably dial this down to like maybe a 50. Unless for whatever reason, like you're really just gripping that thing, you accidentally click them in, maybe don't do that. Maybe you should find a different way to hold the controller. But overall, I think you can basically dial it down a little bit if you want to, but for me, personally, it doesn't matter. Like I said, I have mouse buttons in my controller. So now that you have everything dialed in, you should be able to kind of do your jump slides, do all that sort of stuff, you know, be able to really get a lot of good shots. It should be very, very simple for you to be able to kind of do everything, be able to move around. These are my settings, and I have a really high KD, like a 3+ KD. You drop some crazy games here, basically every single day on YouTube, live, and in video. So I have an understanding of what I'm talking about here. With that being said, though, if you guys found this video helpful, do me a quick favor, hit that like button, hit that sub button, check out this other one on screen, and I'll see y'all next time.
I don't like this gun. Huh. I like that gun. Long range. And what other gun do I like? Yeah, I like that. All right. Oh goodness, I was recording all this. Well, now you gotta see how I set this up, and now it's looking good. There you go.